common sense isn't so common now, is it? Not these days. People have lost their common sense these days, it seems, does it not? Sure does, it sure does. So don't lose your common sense. Common sense, I don't know what's happened to people. I think a lot of people have just lost their ability to think because they're relying on others to think for them. Other people that they're watching or interacting with, or even just things that they consume, such as, news media and other types of related stuff. They say, oh, I don't have to think for myself. The news will think for me and will piece it together for me. And I'll just believe it. I'll just accept it as true. That's when you know that you don't have any common sense, when you're just blindly believing things. You have to have common sense. You really do. You have to be able to put the pieces together as to what's going on here. Because many people have lost this ability. They don't know what's going on. All they do is just blindly believe whatever they're told without question, and they just go along with it. Despite the fact that things could be so obvious that there's this and that, and perhaps there's this correlation between those two things, or maybe there's something that connects them. It's like, oh, well, the news media or science or my parents or my family, my friends, or whoever else told me that there's no connection there. So you're wrong if you believe that there is. You're a conspiracy theorist if you believe there's any sort of connection. Right, well, okay, I mean, where is your common sense? Where are you thinking for yourself? You're not thinking for yourself. You're just thinking based on what other people have told you. That's not thinking for yourself. That's not having any sort of common sense, because you're not thinking. Common sense comes from a place of, as it should be, common sense. It should be something that is common among us, to sense things that are genuine and not genuine, and things that are just make perfect sense as to what to do. It's like, I don't know. It's just, a lot of people have just lost this common sense, and I don't understand why. There's so many things that are just plain common sense. You should just know it. You should just understand it. Yet people have lost it. People have completely lost it, and they don't know what they're even thinking anymore, because they're not thinking for themselves. They're not thinking their true, genuine self anymore. They're thinking from a place of someone else's thinking for them. So if this is you, or if someone else who's like this, how can you reach this person? Have you been successful at reaching this sort of person before? Because, gosh, that is going to be a tough one. Because if you're trying to have a rational conversation with someone who has been essentially brainwashed into believing something that is just disingenuous, just not even true, not even real, and they believe it, and their common sense is with this false idea that is just, it just doesn't make any sort of sense. It makes no sense at all, because common sense, you can infer plenty of things as well. It's almost like if you have a drink in your room, okay? Let's just say this right here. Actually, no, even better. This right here. Here's my protein drink, okay? I have my protein drink, and I have a friend who's in my room, okay? Let's just say that. I have a friend who's in my room. I have a full protein drink. I leave the room for a moment. I come back. Protein drink is half gone, and I see it on my friend's face. Well, I can essentially not assume, but I can say almost for 100% certainty, my friend drank my protein drink. Common sense, right? I mean, common sense is like, oh, what happened here? It's like, I'm not going to walk and go, oh, what happened here? And then I see my friend with this, oh, I don't know what happened, I have no idea. Oh, I don't know what happened. Did a ghost take it? Did a ghost take my protein drink? I mean, common sense, right? Common sense. But at the same time, there isn't necessarily, what if the friend was playing a trick? What if the friend emptied, dumped this out, half of it out, touch some of it and just put it around their face to make it appear like they drank it. Okay, so that is a rare circumstance that would happen, but common sense would tell you that the friend drank it, and you can infer based on the fact that it's half gone, there's only one other person in the room, and it's on their face. Okay? So stuff like that, that is common sense. That should be common sense to everyone, but people have lost their common sense. But being able to think outside the box is with that other scenario I mentioned, where perhaps the friend did dump it out and just, put it on their face. But the likely scenario of that is practically non-existent. Okay? It's a very small chance of that. But for the most part, you should be inferring based on the information that you have that your friend drank it. Okay? People who have lacking this common sense these days, what would they do? And again, they would probably be fine with this sort of scenario. They would probably, figure out what's going on here. But at the same time, it makes you wonder. Because all these people, they are blindly believing what they're being told. They're blindly believing this false scenario that didn't happen. Even if that scenario has a very small chance of it becoming true, for the most part, it's not true. It's not real. It's not happening. What's actually happening is what's right there in your face. I mean, it's common sense. I mean, and this is pretty much exactly what is kind of, you can kind of infer based on what I'm saying here. So let's say you have a line of people and they're all lining up to be, have something done to their physical body or whatever. And after each person, they just kind of collapse on the floor after they come up to the thing, okay? Another person's, and then the person who is giving them that sort of treatment or whatever is like, oh, this is not correlated with what we're doing to them. This is not correlated with this procedure. It's just, this can happen, very rarely on occasion, and everyone in the line believes it. Everyone in the line's like, okay, we believe it, and then every single person just collapses after that incident. And it's like, oh, no, nothing to see here, nothing, this is uncommon, and people still believe it. That's the type of just lack of common sense people have. It's like, if I saw that, it's like, there is no doubt that this person is lying to you about these things being, rare or whatever, and that's a direct cause of whatever this procedure is that's happening. So think about that in relation to everything else in the world right now, and it makes perfect sense. People have lost all sort of common sense with that. So I don't know what's happening to people's common sense. I do not know. I think what it is, the moment you give into fear, the moment you believe in any sort of fear, you're scared, you're terrified of, oh my gosh, I'm going to die if I step outside my house. It's so deadly out there. The moment you have that, you lose all common sense. Your common sense is gone. You can't think rationally. You can't think appropriately. You've lost all your common sense. You have none at that point. Because you're believing things that don't make any sense. They don't make any sense. And you are believing them. You're blindly believing them because you are in a state of fear. Fear clouds your judgment. It makes you think irrationally. And, oh, well, who wants that to take advantage of you? Think about that for a moment. Who wants you to not think rationally and just comply and just do what you're told? Do not question it. Who wants you to do that? It should make perfect sense, but to a lot of people, everything that I'm saying is, oh my gosh, you are like a conspiracy theorist and you should be locked up in jail because you literally put people's lives at risk, your existence. You're racist, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're ableist, you are all these things. You should be locked up for life. It's like, oh my gosh, you've just lost it. You've just completely lost it. You have no common sense at all. So that was all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. Let me know if you know someone who has no common sense, who's just lost it, completely lost it. And remember, people who have lost common sense, it's due to fear. They're being indoctrinated by fear. They believe fear. Their life is controlled by fear, and because of that, they think irrationally. They don't think for themselves. Other people think for them, and they do what they're told because They live in a state of fear. So let go of that fear. Don't live in a state of fear. There's nothing to fear in the world. Nothing. Am I afraid? Sure, I have fears. We all have fears. But I'm not afraid of what it seems like the whole world is afraid of. Just everything. People are afraid of human interaction. And that's sad. You should never be afraid of that. I'm never afraid of that. So, you all take care. Have a great one. And I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.